Hello everyone, this is Eric Wonderston, and today I'm going to show you how to do everything in Lightspeed Classroom Management. So to get here, the easiest way is to start in ClassLink, log in, and then this will automatically log you into your Lightspeed Classroom account. Watch as the magic happens. Once you're here, you'll have a list of classes. Go ahead and select the class that you're currently teaching. And by default, this is not monitoring your students' screens until you turn on this class. So the options are you can click up here to view ad hoc schedule, or go over here to the settings wheel. Either one will get you to this screen. And currently in Albemarle County, we don't have any schedules set up for this to automatically run. So for your class, you just select a session duration, and you want to be careful not to go beyond your class time. You can go ahead and start. And once you've done that, now you have the option to do all of these features in your class, and it'll tell you how much time you have left. So one option is you can pause the internet, which will stop the internet on all the web browsers. You can set up allow mode. It also might take a minute for your students to show up, but once they do, you'll see an actual thumbnail of their screen and what they're currently on. For allow mode, you can set up an allow list, which is a list of tools, and they're the only tools that somebody can go to. The easiest way to set this up is when you copy a website, if you want them to go to a very specific page, you would copy the whole link and paste it in here. But if you want them to be able to go to different pages within this website, you can click and select just that beginning part of the website and copy and paste it here. And once you've copied it, you'll know it worked because it'll be a green check. Right, so that one's good. You can update the list. And then you can have multiple allow lists and you can turn them on. You can also block lists where you specifically block a certain site. And then I really like these advanced options. So if you want, you can have your students have full internet access when they're done. And I'll show you how students can make that happen. You can also change the status of a student to allow them full access to the internet when they're done. And you may have another option here that allows students to access all of the single sign-on websites. So that would be pretty much every website that you can get to through ClassLink. So some nice options there. And then you would apply your list for your class. Now, when the students go to those websites, they'll get a warning that pops up that says they're no longer able to go to them. Up here, you can change, if you want, to full screen or list view versus seeing a picture. And this is the last set of class settings. You can lock everybody's screen. You can unlock. You can send a link. For sending a message, you can't send a custom message. You just have these three. So I would even recommend if you see somebody off task, you could send the need help or are you done options, or just walk over and talk to the student. If you notice an individual student needs support, you can put them in groups and then apply a group web rule. You can also go over here and individually lock screens or send links to those students. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like to actually be using this during your class. So to begin, you could already have some of these rules set up. I'm just using this as an example, so I can click either of those locations. I'll just run 15 minutes as an example. And it may take a minute for your student screen to show up. So if you notice your students aren't showing up, but they should be, there is a troubleshooting guide you can look at. But you can either look at this view, or you can look at them in a list and what websites they're on. I prefer this view. So I'm going to click to look specifically at this student. And I can see their screen, and I can also see all of the tabs that they're on. So if I want, I can actually go through and close out of tabs that they're not supposed to be on. I can also look at a history of what websites they've gone to since I started monitoring. And there's also a recording option. If there was something inappropriate that happened, you would have access to it. But for the most part, you're just kind of looking at tabs and you're able to close out if you see something they shouldn't be on. And that's also assuming you don't have one of your web rules on. Also for individual students, you can click the three dots and you can lock or unlock their screens individually. At the end of class, hopefully you've set this timer so that it doesn't run past your time. If you did, you can easily go in and stop. And I'm going to show you what it looks like if another teacher is currently set up with a class for your students. So in this class, if I begin it, notice that another teacher is listed under their name. So I'm not going to bring them into my class because this teacher is already monitoring or has some kind of allow or block list on. And that's because I'm just doing this to create a video. But if it's hopefully during your class time, you have your students that should all show up. So that shouldn't be an issue, but maybe they're blocked before you, the teacher left it on still, and you really need them under your web rules. So you can just grab them and add them to your class if they actually are in your class at the time. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, please reach out. One last thing is on the student screens, they can choose if they're done or not with their assignments. Let me show you what that looks like. So in the troubleshooting guide, if the students aren't showing up, make sure you actually started your session. Give it a minute. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 minutes to show up. You could have the student restart their browser. You could try some more technical approaches if you want. On the student screen, when you click the little caret by their time, you should see one of these 3 icons. Usually it's the blue book. And if you want to show students that they can click that blue book and change their status to done, and then if you had set that advanced setting, then the student can now access the internet unrestricted. You can also double check if your student's not showing up that they're on an ACPS laptop, ACPS Wi-Fi. If it's still not working, you can check Windows updates, make sure the laptop's been restarted recently. And then there's also something where if you hit the Windows key plus tab on the keyboard, if your student is using multiple desktops, only the primary desktop is going to show up. So this could be a way that a student's trying to go to other websites that aren't going to be monitored. So just things to keep an eye on as you're working with your students. And if you do have any technical issues, feel free to email me, or you could email the service desk at k12albemarle.org.